Good evening and welcome. Tonight we will be going over the history and geography of Central Abaco and Central Andros, which is over there in the Bahamas. Now, as you can see, we're doing a tablet only because there isn't a ton of history in these little sections of the Bahamas. So not much to tell you, and to be honest, not really much to look at, sadly. There's not a lot of slideshows, but we'll poke around and see what we find. But let's start by zooming out so you can see exactly where we are. So this is Abaco, this long island here. We can see Grand Bahamas over here where we can find Freeport. Not too far off. Nassau is down here on New Providence, that's the capital. And this is Andros. This is the largest island in the Bahamas. And Central Andros is, as you can imagine, the central area right here. But we'll look at that in a bit. There's not much to see over there, but we'll look at it nonetheless. The Bahamas are literally just a hop, skip, and a jump away from Florida in the United States, and just north of the island of Cuba. They're very easy to find on the map. You just gotta look for Florida and they're right there. And also on maps like this, where you can see the landscape, you can see the beautiful blue coral waters of the Bahamas from space. Look at that. You won't see anything else like that, even like off Australia. The coral reef isn't that bright and vivid. Along Central America, where there's so many coral reefs, the Red Sea, full of coral. Nothing else like the Bahamas, where it's like glowing. Isn't that something? It's so beautiful. So we have Abaco and Andros tonight. So Central Abaco is home to its largest city, and I believe the fourth largest city in the Bahamas, maybe the third, I forgot. But it's Marsh Harbour. It's not like a big bustling city, you know. But for the Bahamas, it's pretty big. Obviously, it's full of touristy stuff. It's got shopping, it's got food, it's of course got resorts, and it's beaches. Here's Mermaid Reef. Doesn't that sound so pleasant? Oh yeah, this is the Bahamas right here. So Marsh Harbour, my brother-in-law was helping me with research because I was like, there's not much very interesting to say about these places in the Bahamas, so he looked them up. And we were researching together, reading about Marsh Harbour. And I was telling him how, look at that big conch shell right there. This town was essentially created by British loyalists. So at the time of the American Revolution, the Bahamas was a colony of Great Britain. So when it started to get really real over in what's now the United States, many British loyalists, people loyal to the king, fled to the Bahamas. And this is one of the settlements they created, Marsh Harbour. And he said, gosh, you know, their ancestors have houses in the Bahamas and we have Donald Trump. And I'm like, you know what, you're not wrong. Like, I think they won. Like, I think those people made a great decision in the long run, right? So it's probably just nothing. It's probably just mangroves and obviously a marsh. When they got here, you can see how marshy it is over here. It was probably nasty and, you know, not, I want to say clean, but like overgrown. You know, they had to like clear trees and such, but it's beautiful now. There's a couple sad stories involving Marsh Harbour. Here you can see the airport right here. This is where Aaliyah's airplane crashed and where she lost her life. If you don't know, if you're not a millennial, as I am, Aaliyah was one of the best R&B singers of the 90s. She was very young. We're not going to get into her marriage or anything. That's a whole other But she was insanely talented and very beautiful, and she was just starting her acting career. My mom was really into Anne Rice books, and she wrote Interview with the Vampire. And Aaliyah was about to star in the new Anne Rice movie, Queen of the Damned, as the Queen Vampire. She was here in the Bahamas recording a music video, and apparently she was absolutely terrified of flying. Oh my gosh, my cats are chasing each other. Ignore them. Terrified of flying, especially in the little small Cessna airplanes. So she took some sleeping pills and passed out on the plane because she was freaking out. But the pilot overloaded the plane, and as it took off, it crashed. And I believe everyone on board. I think there were 2 survivors, actually. Almost everyone on board lost their lives, including beautiful Aaliyah. Rest in peace, Aaliyah. A true, true talent. That really affected me when I was younger. Gosh, I must have been like 14 or 15. That and Left Eye from TLC when she passed away. That really deeply affected me as a teenager, because people that young and that talented aren't supposed to die, right? Very sad story. Another sad event was in 2019 when Hurricane Dorian passed through the Bahamas, one of the strongest hurricanes ever recorded in the Caribbean. And it hit Abaco first. You could see Elbow Key over here. Hit this first and just plowed into Marsh Harbour. And it destroyed the city. It was almost entirely submerged underwater. Almost every home destroyed. But it has since bounced back and been rebuilt. A lot of sources I read were from people who were coming to give aid and help rebuild. But that's pretty much all I got for you about Marsh Harbour. It's a quiet little place other than those events. Let's see what else we can look at over here. You can see all of this coral area. Sunflower farm there, that's nice. Yeah, all of this rocky shores here. Very, very coralline. There's some restaurants up there. Let's look at Windward Point. You can see this is all resort. This is Treasure Key. Oh, I should always say this with the Bahamas. I do always say this with the Bahamas. C-A-Y in the Bahamas is pronounced key. In the United States, it's pronounced K. And if they do refer to a key, they spell it K-E-Y, like Key West. So just in the Bahamas, it is Key. But if you're in the U.S. and you see that, it's pronounced K. All right. Look at that sand, my goodness. That is a lot of sand there. You know, you think Bahamas, you think of white sand or even pink sand in some places. Look at that water. See, that's that water that we saw from above. It's unreal. It's like a Gatorade almost. It's beautiful. Here's Banyan Beach. Let's take a look at Banyan. But we really can't. But we can see this water again and this big storm off in the distance, raining over the ocean. So beautiful. Let's see. Oh, it ends right there. So we can't go up too much farther, but you can see all the little other keys over here. Not that there's much to see there. They're pretty empty. Don't think they're even inhabited. Even Big Joe Downer Key, yeah, it looks all swampy and rocky. Not really fit for habitation. That's what I imagined Marsh Harbour looked like when the Loyalists pulled up to settle there. And we're like, oh, this place is icky. But they've made it into a lovely, beautiful city. Their descendants made it into a beautiful, lovely city. Let's head over to Central Andros. Now, I don't have much to tell you about Central Andros. Andros, from what I read in my many years reading about the Bahamas, is that if you want the real Bahamian lifestyle experience, you come to Andros. because there's not a lot of like straight up tourism here. I guess maybe in Andros town. But most of it is very rural, very like traditional Bahamian lifestyle. So we can see, I read a lot about Marvor Sound. There's no pictures here, but it's a traditional area, I think dating back to the Lucayans, who were the first inhabitants of these islands, that this was a big boat making area, and from what I read still is today, that they come here to build boats. But as you can see, like I was saying, there's a lot of blue holes in this part of the island. There's no pictures on any of them. They are just natural holes in the ground that go all the way through the land to the ocean below. Because as you can see, it's all coralline islands. It's all made of coral with light soil on the top. And all very marshy and brackish here, as you can see. But there's lots of blue holes throughout. There's more down here, I want to say. I found like 4 or 5 of them here on Google Earth. I'll find them. But those are mainly used for fishing. I guess you can swim in them if you want, but people go there to fish the fish out of them. And that's pretty much it. It is, oh no, never mind, the national park. That is the main thing I need to show you. This is West Side National Park. You can see there's a little hotel over there for people who want to explore it. You can see a big hole right there. Big diving point. Taking a little boat out. And flamingos. This park is home to the Bahamas' largest population of flamingos. Isn't that wonderful? There it is from way above. My goodness, way, way above. All the clouds overhead as well. You can see that really incredible landscape there. Oh, there's a cat bringing in a cat toy. There's Jet with Baby Bug. He loves his baby bug. We got him a new baby bug because his is all beat up. And he's like, that's nice, and continued playing with the old one, of course. There's a lovely dolphin swimming on by. There's some mangrove trees. Mangroves are very unusual trees in that they grow in brackish salt water. So you can see their big trunks going down into the soil under the salt water. You can see a lot more growing over there. It makes a little haven for fishies, especially little baby sharks. And when strong storms hit them, it helps prevent big tidal waves from hitting the land. So that's pretty much it. I did find a Greek settlement over here, which I tried to look up, and all I could find was that people from like poorer countries back in like the 1800s, so I guess that would have been Greece, right, would come here to help develop the islands for the British, but most of them would have been Haitians. I think more in the 20th century, it's more Haitians, but many Europeans came over for work because they didn't have any work there, so I assume that a Greek population came by and stuck around because it's the Bahamas. I mean, Greece is also very nice, but it's the Bahamas. Let's see if there's any pictures here. I don't think so. Nope. Also, when my brother-in-law was researching, when he was searching Andros, he kept getting Greek stuff. So, assuming there's a place in Greece called Andros, which sounds about right, doesn't it? It sounds very Greek. I wonder if that's where the name came from. Here's another hole. Just a big old hole in the ground. A big sinkhole, I assume, because they're very round, aren't they? But that is pretty much all that I have for you tonight. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this style of content, please consider subscribing. Let's see if there's a slideshow for Central Andros. Probably all the pictures we've already seen. Yeah, not a lot. Oh, look how pretty. That is That is in Nassau. That's the Atlantis resort. Goodness. But yes, thank you for watching. If you enjoy this style of content, please consider subscribing. Next, we're going over to Serbia. We are heading to Vojvodina and Banat. Many regions in one. We'll talk about why that is in its history tomorrow. Be sure to subscribe so you won't miss out. Please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and let me know all your thoughts down below in the comments. Have you been to the Bahamas? I haven't. I've never been to the Caribbean, and I'm desperate to, because you guys know how much I love swimming, right? How much I love the ocean. Someday. Let me know where you've been in the Bahamas if you've been. Oh no, there's some pictures from the hurricane here. How sad. Oh my goodness. Oh my. I haven't seen these. I haven't even bothered to look at the main slideshow. Well. But yes, I hope that you found this video to be relaxing and educational, and I hope that you have a good night. Good night.